Greetings everyone, my name is Tony Holowitz and thank you for being here for this tutorial. I have a client that's having an issue with their Act software. And the reason they're having an issue is because they have Act Update number 8, version 24, Update 8. And what's happening is when they want to export things out to Excel, Act makes it rather easy to do. So what I've done in this database is I've looked up all the people whose first name begins with John. There's 174 of them. When I'm in the list view, I can take all this information I see here and quickly shoot all this information out to Microsoft Excel simply by clicking on this Excel icon, the X right there. Now the problem they're having is that when they take this data and export it out to Excel, there are special characters, question marks, that are also going out to their Excel data. Unfortunately, when they open it up in Excel, they cannot see those special characters. But the people they were sending that information to import into another program ran into issues because when they imported it, it was bringing in those special characters. The way I know those special characters are in there is because the Excel file they were working with and talking about, I did a save as in Excel and saved it as a CSV file. So when you look at it just in Excel, you cannot see the question marks. But when you save it as a CSV file, or a text file for that matter, you can see it. And I'm going to show you the Excel spreadsheet so you can see what I'm talking about. Notice all these question marks right here. They're all in the cells. They're not in the date field, but they're in certain cells. And they're not seeing that when it's saved as an Excel file. This is a CSV file. That's why I can see it. So how do we deal with that? Well, when you're exporting data from Act, you can do it by doing a lookup, and if the columns you want or the info you want isn't here, you can add that. I'm not going to show you how to do this in this tutorial, but instead of exporting it this way, another way you can do it is you can go up to File, and this is a fix that we discovered. Export. The export wizard comes up. I'm going to click Next. By default, it's going to assume it's an Act database. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to choose Text Delimited. I'm going to browse to the desktop of my computer, right there, and I'm going to call this the test question mark. And I'm going to hit here where it says text file, and I'm going to save it as a CSV file instead of this being a text file. I'm going to click Open and retain the name. I'm going to click Next. I'm going to now be asked, what information do I want to send out as an export? Do I want the contact records, group records? In this case, it's the contact records. It's not the current record, which would have been just this one person. It's going to be the current lookup, or I could do all records for that matter. But in this case, because I looked up all the people whose first name began with John, I just want to do the current lookup. I'm going to click Next. By default, I'm going to leave it as comma, and I'm going to export the field name. So I'm going to click Next again. So this is the thing, the disadvantage of doing it this way. You'll notice that when I'm in the list view of Act, there's only a certain amount of columns. And I can take away columns and I can add to columns. But when I try to export by clicking on File Export, it's going to export every single field in Act. Now my colleagues, or my client I should say, does not want all this data. So what you have the ability to do is go through this list, and let's say I don't want the Act latitude. I can remove it. I can remove the longitude. Maybe I don't need address too. I can remove that. So you have to go through this once and narrow it down only to the fields you want. You can also export everything out to Excel and deal with it there. But if you're going to be doing this on a regular basis, and in this case my client, whose name is Mary, is going to be doing this every month. So what she would have to do is go through and whittle this down, and once she whittles it down to just the information she wants, she's going to do what's called Save Map. And I'm going to click right here on Save Map. And I'm going to save this map as Mary. And I'm going to call it Mary 2023. And I'm going to click Save. So what it did is it remembers now all the fields we've chosen. Now Mary might only have 10 fields here. We have tons of them still because I didn't narrow it all down. But the next time she comes through this, she'll see all the fields, the original fields, but what she'll do is she'll click on Load Map, she'll navigate to the Mary map, click Open, and that will load it. So it will isolate it down. So the first time she does this, it's going to be a little bit of work, not a ton of work. She's just going to remove some of the fields, save the map, she can call it Mary, and then once she's done that, click Next. Once she's done that, click Finish, and it will export all this information out as a CSV file. And a CSV file is something that can be opened in Excel. It can then be saved as an Excel file if you want to do that, or you can just work with it as a CSV. So this is how you would accomplish this task, and how Mary, who has to do this once a month, the first time she does it, it's a little bit of work, but additional time she's saved that map so she can just load it, and then it's easy. That's how you deal with this issue with the question marks. Hopefully in some future update that will go away. If you have previous updates in Act 7 and less, this isn't an issue. But with update 8, for some reason, it decided to put those characters in there. So this is for Mary. Thank you very much. You have a great day. Be well now.